Right then, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to welcome our big, fancy Friday guest. Now, I love this man, but I'm slightly bitter towards this man in equal measure because he kind of like burst onto the scene in the early 80s and still looks as good now as he did then. I mean, how does he even do that? Lead singer of one of the best bands ever. We love their music on this radio station. He's done it as a soloist. He's done it in theatre. He was here in Birmingham in Panto. What has this man not done, ladies and gentlemen? Well, luckily for you and I, he's back with a new single, a new album, and a tour, which comes here to the West Midlands. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding all together for the one, the only. It's you, Marti Pellow.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I was getting a bit excited there. I thought, I wonder who it is. Who's his guest? And alas, it's me. So hello, everybody.
It's you. How are you? You okay?
Fantastic.
Good man. So I mentioned it then. You are back. Brand new album. The single, the lead single from the album, Sound of My Breaking Heart, I was playing in my car on the way home yesterday, and I'm funked out. I love it. It is funky fresh.
Oh, brilliant. You know, and it's very much, you know, that's the type of album that this is and that I've made. I wanted to be able to just to be able to have a dance, you know, and get a groove thing going on there. And so I went away over to Los Angeles and I did most of the writing there and the recording there. So I was made up.
And where did the inspiration come from for like a funky sound?
Well, you know, when I was growing up, I was a big Earth, Wind and Fire fan and still am, you know, and Chic and Sister Sledge and, you know, the Brothers Johnston. I love all those records, and I always wanted to make a record that kind of had the feel of that genre of music. And it's taken me, you know, a few years on the planet to be able to know how to go about doing that and been able to achieve that. And knowing where to go and whose door to knock on to get that, you know. Some of the writers on this album that I worked with, like Ailey Willis, she wrote Boogie Wonderland, September for Earth, Wind and Fire. I mean, some of my favourite songs. She also wrote a little song called The Theme Tunes for Friends, but, you know.
Wow.
So she's been quite prolific.
She's done all right.
She's done not too bad. And, you know, the musicians that are on the album are very much of the Quincy Jones brigade, you know, played by Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder. So you're getting a lot of good music heritage poured into this.
Now, looking back at your sort of backstory, if I've got this right, when you were 17 years of age, when you were fresh-faced, you were training to be a painter and decorator. So how did you go from painting, decorating to show business, Marti Pellow?
Well, you know, I think that, you know, I was always a dreamer, Even at school, you know, all the guys that I was in a band and still am in a band called Wet, 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 that we wanted to be on top of the pops and we wanted to tour the world, and we knew that we needed songs to do that, and so that's never ever changed. But that we always had one eye focused on being that, making our dreams become a reality, and woe betide anybody who said any different. And I was lucky enough to be one of those artists that got the chance to go around the world in a song, basically, Richie. It's a wonderful feeling, and to still be looking back of 30 years of work and still getting away with it. But you know, I'm still quite handy with a paintbrush.
Do people still hire you in to do their painting and decorating? Is it like a little side project?
Well, do you know, I think you should never ever burn your bridges completely, and always, you know, I'm quite reasonable when I come round your house to price a job.
No cowboy builders in Marti Pellow, everybody.
Oh, hey.
You've also performed at Madison Square Gardens. Now, I went for a tour of Madison Square Gardens when I went to New York last year, and it's quite an overwhelming place to be. So for you, a kind of guy from Scotland, you mentioned it there, started off as a painter and decorator. Wow, you've performed at Madison Square Gardens. Yeah,
you know, and you think, here it goes, you know, this is one of those iconic buildings and gigs that have inspired me, that I've saw artists standing on that stage, you know, be it from John Lennon to Elton John to Eric Clapton to the list just goes on. And so for me to play Madison Square Gardens, wow, amazing.
Absolutely incredible. So we've got Marti Pellow on the show this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Brand new album, brand new single, and a tour that comes here to Birmingham. So I think what we're going to do now, Marti, is hear brand new single, Sound of My Breaking Heart. It's funky fresh, everybody. You're going to love this. And then we'll chat more to Marti the other side.
All right.
up my head, but I won't trade that for the silence of my empty bed. The sound of my breaking heart, I don't want to hear. No, 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 no. There ain't no pity here in the city by the sound of my breaking heart. This town's no place for whispers, ain't what it's all about. That's right. When the pain inside gets louder, becomes a drowning out. To let the city take over, louder than thunder. Maybe then I can pretend that I can hear the crowds and the tears and the whys and the world was pain and rain. The sound of my breaking heart, I don't want to hear. No, 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 no. There ain't no pity here in the city for the sound of my breaking heart. Lord, the sound of my breaking, I don't want to hear. No, 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 no. There ain't no pity here in the city for the sound of my breaking heart. I remember when my heart it used to sing, when the sweetest of sounds was your name. I remember when we used to get away, when we whispered the love that we made. Lord, I don't want to hear. Here in the city by the sound of my breaking heart. Down in my head, I don't want to hear. Somebody help me. There ain't no pity here in the city for the sound of my breaking heart. No, 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 no. Somebody show me some love.
Oh, that was so good. And those lovely tones you were listening to belong to Mr. Marti Pellow, who's on the programme. Hello, Marti Pellow.
Hello back, hello back, hello back.
So you're speaking to us here in the West Midlands. You're no stranger to these ends because you did Panto here a few
man.
years ago.
Absolutely.
So what was it like living here for you? What was it like living in the West Midlands?
I have such a good time at that part of the country. Be it Birmingham or playing the Wolverhampton too. I've spent some time there as well. When I was coming out doing Willie Russell's Blood Brothers there, and I've had the West Midlands been very good to me over the years. Always looked after me. I played in every venue, every venue, be it the NIA or or even at the Birmingham Town Hall. I'm going back there to play. I just think it's a special part of the country, and I remember having the first time I ever played. It was called the NEC back then.
Yeah.
Was when I supported Lionel Richie. So it was like one of my biggest breaks came from that part of the world. So I'm indebted to the West Midlands.
You mentioned, all right. You mentioned supporting Lionel Richie. When you support somebody, when you're a support act, how much interaction do you get with the main man? I mean, did you get to go and chill in his dressing room after performances? No way.
Wait. Yeah, there was a gentleman. He would introduce himself if we saw him at a catering and say hello. You enjoying the tour? And I think that's important. You're being invited to be part of his show, and all that brings to the table. And Barry White was the same when we toured with the Temptations and Blind Johnny Guitar Watson and all these sort of people. They were all gentlemen. Elton John, toured with Elton John. I mean, I think it's wonderful that you get to you're afforded the luxury to meet people that have inspired you, and then when they turn out to be nice blokes or nice ladies, you're ahead of the game. And I think that's how they conduct themselves. Lionel Richie, a beautiful man.
Now, you obviously you're a pop star, but you've also done theatre as well. Bill Ken writes Evita when it was in the West End, The Witches of Eastwick. How do you kind of find it turning your hand to theatre? Is it natural for you, coming from your background that you do, or is it something you had to work at?
Well, I think it's something that I had to work at. I know, I'm familiar with the gift of song. I know my way around a melody. That's for sure. But when I first dipped my toe into musical theatre, it was the Kander and Ebb score, Chicago, and it was such a great experience to be able to pull it off, but to get access to these people who could nurture the talent that you have within you and bring it out in you. So much so, I did it in the West End. I might be safe to say that I took over from Patrick Swayze, and when I did it on Broadway, and I'm not talking Fulham Broadway, but it was great to be able to do it. It was a bit to experience the musical theatre, and I've worked with everybody from Kander and Ebb to the ABBA Boys to Tim Rice, Andrew Lloyd Webber. I've been very blessed, and I've got a good patron in Bill Kenwright who looks after me and brings these shows to me and say, "Come on, son, let's get busy." I love it.
So March the 25th, you're going to be here at the Birmingham Town Hall. I don't know. Well, you said you played everywhere, so you've done that before. The acoustics at the Town Hall are incredible. You must be so excited for this gig.
I love it. Unfortunately, I'm only doing one night, and it's kind of sold out. It's gone, but. Maybe there might be some seats left. I don't know, but I hope that that I can come back again, and do it. I love the intimacy of that venue, and it's going to be a great night.
And how does it compare touring now in sort of like 2017 to when you did it with Wet 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 in the 80s and the early 90s?
Well, to be fair, I just finished a tour with Wet 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 last year, and with them it's 18 juggernauts. We're playing, we're doing the O2, and we're doing the. We're playing at all these arenas, 10, 15, 20,000 people a night. It's a whole different puppy. That's a big machine. Wet is a brand name. As people come out in the tens of thousands to see that and listen to the music and the heritage of that back catalogue. So when I go out and tour, we always have a wee giggle that, we'll go out there and we'll say, "Oh, good evening, O2." And it's like, oh my God, what's going on here? But people enjoy the music, and and I like to say that there will be new web music too, because it'd be great to see where we're at as songwriters. As we are now in our 50s. Great.
As I mentioned at the start, that you don't look it. You've got to tell us your secret, Marti Pellow.
I go to bed early and always moisturise.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little window into the life of Marti Pellow.
Well, there you go, man. That's it. I thank my mother and father. Good genes.
So dates for your diary. 25th of March, Marti Pellow will be at Birmingham Town Hall. Make sure you are there. Album Mysterious is out.
March 10th.
March the 10th. And the new single, Sound of My Breaking Heart, is out.
Go download it.
Now. Do it now. Marti Pellow.
Thank you very much. Thank you.